greatly appreciate that. We love what you've brought to the community. It's a great thing. So without further ado, we're going to get started in the agenda. The Main Street Corridor person has not shown up, so we're going to just jump right to Rich Marin, who's going to give us an update on the New York Wheel. And that's the person who's been very quietly sitting up here, Rich Marin.
Well, I'll try and project from the back of the room. I'm Rich Marin. I live at 90 Bay Street Landing, and I have for 2 years, so it's just outside of your zone. My son and daughter-in-law live on Monroe now, and they've been there for about 3 years, so we are Staten Islanders.
Sir, I really hate to interrupt. Maybe because there's an engine going on over here, there's a fan, so maybe we can move right here to the center, because it's difficult to hear us.
No problem. Okay, closer to the cook. So what I was saying was I've lived here for about 2 years at 90 Bay Street Landing, just outside your zone. But I first presented to the Mud Lane Society about 4 years ago during our approval process. I went up to one of the lovely Victorian homes on a hill. I don't remember whose home it was, but presented up there. Thank you for inviting me to give you an update. I've been working on this project since the end of 2010. I've been doing it full time since the beginning of 2012. I never thought it was going to take this long to do this, but it has. It's become a bit of a life's work. As you can see, I live it every day. Wear the sweatshirt most days when I'm not at work. I'll give you a quick update on where we stand. This is now a $650 million project. If you want to understand why it went from where it was to 650, if you've got a couple hours, I'll be glad to explain it all to you. But let me put it this way. This is going to be, and always was going to be, a world-class, iconic attraction. This is not a carnival ride. This is something that is more akin to what the Eiffel Tower is or what the Arch in St. Louis is. It's something that's going to hopefully be here for 100 years or more and be the kind of attraction that literally is captured as part of the skyline of New York and giving Staten Island, some sort of a rightful place in that skyline. I was just saying to somebody earlier that someone gave me a little Lego set for London skyline earlier last week, and I spent the whole day, I think, putting it together with 600 little pieces, and it had prominently the London Eye, along with the Tower Bridge and Big Ben. And at the very end of the booklet, it had one of New York, and I immediately got our marketing people to call up Lego and say, you've got to redo your New York skyline, and you got to have, since you got the technology, the Lego technology figured out now, just add one for the New York skyline now. Absolutely. So hopefully you'll see the Lego kit come out by the time we open it. So let's get right to the fact of where we are. Well, actually, I wanted to say one thing. Who reads the Post here? Anybody read the Post? Okay.
I'll quit the audience.
I read the Times too, but my wife tells me what's in the Post, and my PR people tell me what's in the Post. And this morning, they told me what was on page 9, and I just want to bring this up because it kind of offends me, and I want to just, it should offend you a little bit too. This is about Andrew Cuomo's giving away money to various projects. People have said, and I read the blog comments that say, why aren't we spending our money on other civically required projects? Well, the reason is because this is private investment. This is not public money. The sum total of the public money we have gotten at New York Wheel adds to $2.5 million, $1.5 from a tourism grant that was an as-of-right grant, which means the money was there, someone had to get it, and we applied, and we got a little piece of it, and $1 million from the borough president, which was less than all the other big projects here got. So we've only gotten $2.5 million. You've read about Empire Outlets, good friends of ours, and I did support them and went up on stage the other night at the library to speak my part about why they're important to us. But they've gotten $100 million. And the subject of the article today is about the $20 million incremental that they're getting right now. And I hated the fact that the article was about how this project was getting extra money, and they had a picture of the wheel. So can you imagine how I felt? I'm not getting any of that money, so please understand something about the wheel. We are privately funded. This is all new money, $650 million of new money coming into Staten Island. It is not using money that would otherwise be used for other public works. And I live here now too, and I know the infrastructure needs of this borough as well as you do. And I want to make sure that you understand that. So when you read about this project, Empire Outlets is getting money, and I don't begrudge them that, but it isn't me it's getting. We've only got what I told you we've got. So, with that aside, we're about halfway through. We have about $370 million in the ground. And that amazes people because they come up to me and say, when are you going to start? And the problem is, unless you go down to the waterfront, you really can't see how much we've done. We have 2 buildings worth of structural steel below ground because, you know, like that trainer, what's her name? What's the gal's name? The singer trainer? Right, Megan Trainer. It's all about the base, baby. It's all about the base. And if you don't get the base right, you know, you're building a 20 million pound something or other on a weak base. So we've spent a lot of time and a lot of money getting the base right. We're now right at the cusp of seeing this thing go vertical. The first of the 2 big cranes is on site now. The second crane is in Brooklyn, being shipped over in 2 shipments, 2 barges. The first one coming over Thursday of this week, weather permitting. Those 2 cranes, when they get their final certification in the next week or so, or a week or 2, and they go vertical, you're going to see just how big those cranes are. The highest one is 465 feet. The other one is 380 feet. It's going to make the tower cranes at Empire Outlets look like Tinker Toys. These are big cranes because this is a big project.
You have a live cam though, right?
We have 3 live cams going to 4 live cams. You can go online at any time, go to our website, newyorkwheel.com, and see all 3, soon 4 live cams to watch the construction. Now we're adding the extra ones so that you can actually see the wheel being built piece by piece. And so where we are right now is that the legs, which will be the first vertical elements that go up, will go up. Those pieces are sitting over in Brooklyn. They're being, all the welds are being inspected right now. By the way, as an example, the norm on projects like this is that you inspect about 30% of the welds, and if they look good, you don't bother doing 100%. Well, you got to know your Department of Buildings is very, very persnickety, and we're required to inspect 100% of the welds on this thing. These are 18-foot in diameter legs, tubular steel, 100 millimeters thick. Each of those sections, 2 sections per leg, weigh 275 tons. Okay, so that's a 550-ton leg that goes up 300 feet. To give you a sense, go look at any of the light stanchions at the ballpark. The highest one is 125 feet. Now go 5x if you want to figure out how high we're going to be. Or better yet, go to those buildings, the Michelama buildings up on the hill, highest structures on Staten Island. They are 330 feet. That is the height of the midpoint of the wheel. That's how high the legs are going to be. The legs are going to go up starting about April 1. So you will actually, no one is going to ask the question, have you started yet, once those legs go up, because you will not be able to miss them from anywhere, including Red Hook, New Jersey, Manhattan. It will be very, very visible. Then, over the course of the summer, we put what's called the A-frames and the hub and spindle up there. Just to give you a sense, that structure on top, which is like the axle of the wheel, weighs 1,300 tons. Lifting 1,300 tons, 330 feet in the air, has only been done maybe 5 times in the history of mankind. So this is a non-trivial event. This is a big deal. People ask me all the time, how's it going, Rich? And I say, new adventure every day. Because that's the only thing I feel I can say. I don't want to be negative, but I also can't say, oh, it's a walk in the park. This is hard to do, much harder than I or most of the people involved imagine. We are at the limits of what physics and metallurgy will allow you to do. The reason the Dubai Eye is stalled is they're over the line of what metallurgy and physics will allow you to do. So they're sitting there scratching their head. We are right at the line. We are there, we can do it, we will do it. It'll be finished and built by the middle of next year and operational. You will actually see the full circle of the rim. So what you think of as the wheel, probably by a year, certainly by a year from now, but probably in January of next year, because it's a 4-month process to put up the rim, and that the rim pieces come in August over to Brooklyn, and they will come on site starting to be fabricated, and it gets built like this. I have plenty of simulations. If we had a screen, I'd show you the simulations. It'll get built over a 4-month period into a full circle. It's like an arch that needs a keystone. It's very unstable until you get that last piece in. So if you want to know when I'm sweating peanut butter, it's going to be when we're 7/8 of the way around. And we have 17 of the 18 pieces in, and I'm watching the weather reports to make sure there's no hurricane coming. That's when I'm most worried. Okay? Obviously, we have lots of controls and lots of safety measures to protect, but it's going to be an exciting year, certainly for me. Hopefully, it'll be exciting visually for all of you to see this go up. Once it goes up, then the drive towers and the 36 capsules will get put on. Each capsule weighs 30 tons, so again, that's non-trivial as well. It takes 40 people. This is going to be finished middle of next year, grand opening middle of next year. It will have 5 miles of LED on it that will light up the town, so to speak, but it'll light up the harbor. It won't shine towards, we designed it so it would not shine back towards Staten Island. It's funny, I've had more complaints about that from Staten Islanders than I have had, comments that they wish they're glad I did that. I thought that's what people would want, but it's funny how people say, Chad, I'd like to be able to see it from the other side of the island. But it will be shining out towards the harbor, and we will have a light show every night. So this will be part of activating the waterfront. My sense from the other projects is that regardless of what you see about opening dates, you better figure that 2018 is the year when everything opens. I don't think much is going to open before 2018, in my prediction. Lots going on at the outlet mall. A lot of good stuff is happening there. As you've heard, Lighthouse Point has got the Westin coming in. I watch that from my terrace every day. It's going to be amazing waterfront. Half mile of very, very activated waterfront. Our garage, by the way, is fully open for self-park now. There's a quandary. If anybody has an answer to it, I'd love to hear it. 1,500 cars on average used to park in those 2 parking lots. Okay? We've been open for self-park, which means, just like it used to be, you park, you take your keys with you, and you still pay the $8 a day. And we're only up to less than 400 cars. So the great, amazing, shrinking parking attendance is a question mark. I have a feeling consumer behavior changed because of all the construction. A lot of people taking the train. If that's the case, all good, right? Fewer people on the roads. I have a feeling it's going to creep back, but that lot is open and working now. And it can take 820 of the total of 950 will eventually take. That's only because we can't open the north exit, so we can't make all of the spaces available because there's a 200-foot maximum walking distance that the DOB allows for egress. So
Where's the entrance to that lot?
the entrance lot, we have 2 entrances. We have opened, of course, it's always been open down on Bank Street. And the Nicholas Street ramp is now open and has been open for a month. So you can actually, and there's a 40-car reservoir, if you know what that means, which means that there's not going to be any backed up traffic on the Richmond Terrace. There's more than enough room for everybody that wants to go in and park to get in there and not have it back up. So that's all available, so you can literally park right at the Richmond Terrace level, and we have 2 bridges that walk right out to Richmond Terrace. You can walk right out and go into town. I mean, for those of you who might want to eat at Besso, finally there's a place to park that is not too far away to walk. I just ate at Vita the other night for the first time, which is a lovely place right next door. Anyway, let me ask if there are any questions. I mean, yes?
Yeah, what are the plans with the parking lot that you just closed on Bay?
Well, that's not ours.
Oh.
That was what about the parking lot that just closed on Bay? That was one of the temporary parking lots which was run by Empire Outlets. That property was bought by BFC, the owners of Empire Outlets, and they are going to develop it, I believe, into another one of the Bay Street corridor residential units. That's my understanding anyway.
Thank you.
But it's not us, that's Joe Ferrara. Yes.
Is it possible for the jitney bus that you have that goes back and forth to the ferry, for it to have stops between the parking lot and the ferry? Because I'm thinking, like you just said about Beso, you know, but it only makes, I think it only goes directly to the ferry.
Well, it does. However, during the ball game season, we made allowances and dropped everybody off at the ballpark when they asked us to. If you have a serious interest and there are enough people that want to get off at anywhere downtown, you just have to ask the drivers. If you ask them nicely, my guess is they'll stop and let you off.
Also, having taken
Getting
that,
picked up is a little harder.
Okay.
yeah, having taken that bus as well, you know, the drivers have phone numbers that are posted in the bus so that if you need
And they're very happy about that. So as people that are very happy, they want to be quite accommodating. Oh, by the way, and you can, of course, when you're on the ferry, for instance, you can call up and they'll have your car ready. They have a texting system and a call-up system so that you don't have to wait for your car if you're not self-parked, if you're valet parked. At our new dock, maybe at the Stapleton. That's up to the city.
But I thought he said they would be private ferries.
We were told that when you were, as part of the project, there would be some funding that would be able to come back to the community for
Correct.
grants. When will those be available and run these
Well,
projects like us applied?
We have committed to 10 years of total of $500,000 into an endowment fund, and the same from Empire Outlets, and quite frankly, you ought to be making sure that Lighthouse Point participates in the same way. So there's $1 million over 10 years to be spent by the community, and as soon as we begin operations, we start funding the $50,000 a year. I might add, I give more than $50,000 a year already to a lot of not-for-profits here in Staten Island, Sun Harbor, St. George Theater, the Alice Hoffman House, etc. So we give more than that already. We'll continue to do that, but we committed $50,000 into this special endowment for that purpose. To be directed by the community. So talk to Lynn Rose's office because they're the ones who are setting it.
This involves Empire Outlets. I'm not sure that you'd be able to answer it. This involves Empire Outlets. I'm not sure.
Well, I'll try and answer it for them because they don't be here.
Yeah. So I know that in exchange for getting this project working out to develop in that phase, they promised some transportation improvements. You know anything about that?
There are certain changes in the lights and the striping of Richmond Terrace, and that's totally all that's been promised.
All right.
I just want to mention one thing that you said. I really think it's off base. I say that. I lived for 2 years. My son and daughter-in-law lived for 3 years. I sold my home, and I lived in a house. I think it's simply out of line for you to say, how long you're going to live here. Ask what other developer has ever moved where they live in the midst of construction and everything else. It doesn't happen. Well, but it's not. It's an accusation. You should rethink the way you say it.
Show you the question.
Okay. But this is my home now. Okay. It's where I pay taxes. It's where I vote. How do you define home?
I just want to know if you're going to be stuck in traffic like everybody else.
I'm stuck in traffic like everybody else right now.
After this project is finished.
I'm on the board of CSI.
I'm wondering what your presence
I'm on
will
the
be
board
on
of
the island.
CSI, and my wife is on the board of St. George Theater. You live here.
That's not
Why
my
are
issue.
you
I know you
challenging
live
that?
here.
Why?
I know you live here. I'm just saying. Will you?
Okay, so you can hear.
Yes, I've been here since September of 1960. Longer than anyone in this room.
You're right, I've only been here. Like about 10 or 12 people I heard announce here that are only here for 2 weeks.
Right, Rich, first of all, I thank you very much for coming here and explaining what's going on. I really do appreciate that. I'm sure everyone else does as well. You had mentioned about the parking, and you said it's about a total of approximately 2,300 spaces. parking spaces, correct?
Parking,
That's what I'm
2200
asking
feet.
about parking, right? He said you got 2,200 spots for parking. And right now, there's approximately 900, only which maybe 400 each day are used by commuters. My question is, when the project is in fruition and they're up and running, what I potentially envision is a competition between the people who want to come to the wheel and the commuters. Is there, do you know, because I know it also includes Empire Outlets.
Yep.
Do you know how that is going to be structured?
Yep.
Whether or not there's going to be certain spots dedicated?
We
to
are
commuters?
required to provide 820 spots on my site, 786 spots on their site to commuters. Now, how in the heck you figure out who's a commuter and who's not a commuter is beyond me, because no one's ever defined that. But look at it this way, commuters come in at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock for the most part. Wheel doesn't open until 10 o'clock. Outlet Mall won't open until probably 10 o'clock for the most part. Commuters will always have priority access. We will not restrict. If there are 950 commuters, they can use all 950 spots. Empire Outlets has to be more careful. They will restrict it to 786, and they will leave some parking for their shop.
Well, I think one of the ways that they can do that is if they have a parking in certain areas is 24-hour parking, hourly parking, where you can only park after.
Well, unfortunately, we're mandated by the city to provide daily parking at $8, and you can park there for 24 hours for $8, and unfortunately. The best hope I have of getting more than that is if someone comes, pays their $8, leaves, and I sell it again. But I can't do anything more than that, I charge you an hour. By the way, Matt, I do want to explain more, because I try not to be aggressive about this. I understand that the wheel is not everybody's cup of tea. Okay, we did have a very formal process, we did go through it twice. The city, made sure that the community was in majority behind. All right, all I can do is propose. And once the city has approved, then I'm going to, then I move forward to build. I'm sorry you're unhappy. We will try and make sure that you're at least proud of what is built. And we will try and make sure that the impact on the community is minimized. And
Why is that looking forward?
Pardon?
Why is the project underway and almost within a year when the impact on the That's my question. It's not
And
like
the question is this: between the middle of 2012, the city executed its first redevelopment, and the final approval of the